Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is George and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about how I met the entire cast of Chainsaw Man. Now, before I get any farther with the video, I wanted to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my Chainsaw Man anime and manga content I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys would subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with that being said, let's get into how I met the entire cast of Chainsaw Man. Now, how it all came to be is because I attended Anime Las Vegas, and for you guys that don't know what that is, it was a anime convention that was taking place obviously in Vegas, just like how it sounds like. And the entire main cast of, consisting of Denji, Power, Aki, and Makima's voice actors were there. So I got the pleasure of, getting to talk to them and actually meeting them, as well as, getting my manga, signed by them. And it was great. They were all awesome. And I just wanted to give you guys like a little story time and, how I met them and, how my interaction with, the cast was. Because right off the bat, I just got to say that the entire cast was just awesome. And they were very sweet people. And it was, very fun talking to them and, meeting the people behind, like the characters that I enjoy, the voices behind the characters that I read, in the manga as well as I watch on screen. And it's a very surreal moment, getting to see them in the flesh. And I thought that was, I thought all of them were very nice and very wholesome people. Now, let's start off with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Ryan Colt. And Ryan Colt voices Denji. And all I gotta say about Ryan is that he's an awesome guy. This dude, I'm just gonna say it, he was a giga chat. This dude, like literally, I had a blast talking to him. I talked to him for like almost probably 10 minutes and we were just geeking out because what happened was I came in there, and I was like, hey, would you sign this? And he was like, oh, nice. Because if you guys didn't know, he's also a manga reader. So me and him talked about the manga for like 10 minutes straight, and as well as other like Fujimoto works. Like we talked about Goodbye Eri, and we just chit-chat about like how Chainsaw Man is great. And it was very cool, and it's something that you don't see too often where a voice actor is very passionate about the project outside of just the anime. He was also very passionate about the manga and just Fujimoto as a whole. And it was very cool connecting with him in that level, in the sense that, he and I were talking about like our favorite characters. And it was funny, one of the volumes that I gave him, which I believe it was volume 7, I just looked at him straight up, was like, yeah, this is the best arc, right? The International Assassins arc, this is the best one. He was like, oh yeah, for sure. And then he points at Quan Chi and he was like, and I was like, yeah, respect. Like he knows. And, we just chit-chatted and like kind of just nerded out. It's like, there's so many characters, especially in part 2, that we want to see come back from part 1, which like one of them was Kobeni. We want to see them. Kishibe, he was very fond of Kishibe and he wants to see him back, as well as Kobeni. And I obviously had to bring up Kobeni's car. I was like, the car got to come back, right? And then he laughed, like he got the joke, and it was very fun. Like this dude was just a nice, wholesome dude, and we were chit-chatting for a bit. And eventually what happened is, I told him like, yeah, can you sign my manga? And like, yeah, it's like, give me these quotes. What are the quotes? And I gave him like some of the iconic ones. I told him like, I'm not your seat, dude. Like, when Aki sits on Denji, and he was just like classic. Like he got a big old smile when he saw the quotes. He was like, these are all fantastic quotes. And the one that he really like laughed a lot while writing it was the, oh my god, they love me, they really love me. Like, and then I brought up like how there's that meme of Denji just like, oh my god, he's just like me for real. Like, and we were just chit-chatting for a bit, and to be honest, time flew by, because like next thing I know, I looked at my clock. I was like, wow, it's been like 10 minutes. Like and there was a couple of people behind me, so I didn't want to take up too much time, because I know they want to meet him as well. So, but overall, I thought that dude was awesome. And what's the coolest part about it is, like we were talking about how Asa is a great character, and how Fujimoto makes his characters very relatable, and how it's very dark. Part 2 has been very dark, and you don't see that often when it comes to a shonen series, how deep and how realistic it can go. And I agree with that, because if you've seen my reviews, you can tell that Fujimoto's just been cooking. Like, my man's just been producing heat since part 2. And me and Ryan both agree that we think that part 2 so far has been better than part 1 when it comes to the beginning of part 1. Like, whether it's like, I would say from part 1 up to Katana Man arc, I think part 2 has been better in general, if you compare those. Now, I'm not saying his part 2 is better than part 1, neither is he. I'm just saying that we're talking about early part 1. Yeah, part 2 has been killing it more. Like, I think this just been better. And the last thing me and Ryan were talking about, because I was like, hey, I don't know if you've seen this, but did you see that there was a live action Chainsaw Man in production? He was like, what? I haven't heard about this. What? And I was like, yeah, man, it's like, it's this. And he looked at I showed him the picture. And if you guys know, I showed him a picture about all I'll say is a Japanese live action Chainsaw Man that's for adults. I'll leave it at that. And he saw the picture. It's like, oh, I seen this Twitter picture. Like, he's like, I've seen this. Like, I was like, did you see the trailer? He's like, no, I have not. And I was like, okay, I'll show you the trailer, bro. Now, on my own behalf, I forgot to show him how Pochita looks in the live action Chainsaw Man parody thing. And I was like, oh man, that sucks. So then the next day, I come back and I was like, hey man, what's up? It's like, he remembered me. He was like, hey, you dude, what's up? And I was like, hey, I know me and you were talking about that live action Chainsaw Man yesterday. He started laughing. He's like, oh yeah, I remember. And I was like, so here's the picture of Pochita. And I showed him how Pochita looks in the live action. And I'm not going to show you guys because you guys can look it up. You guys don't want to look. You don't want to see how he looks, trust me. But I showed him and he just started laughing. Like, no, actually, he got like a shock face, like in a, like, oh my God. Like, he was just like, oh my God. He's like, that is freaky, dude. And I was like, yeah, I know, right? And he was just like, that is funny. Like, and I was telling him how Reese is actually introduced in that parody, like in that live action parody, how Reese is actually going to be introduced there first before the anime. So how there's some people that are going to be like, I actually got spoiled because of the adult film. Like that I thought that was funny. Overall, I thought Ryan was an awesome guy, and I would go as far as to say he was one of the nicest people that I've ever met when it comes to, like, celebrity. Like, I thought he was just a fantastic, down-to-earth guy, and he was just a blast, and it was a pleasure meeting him, and I look forward to the next time I meet him, so we can nerd out about Chainsaw Man again. Now, following that, I'll talk about Sarah, and I'm sorry, I don't want to butcher your name, Sarah. Sarah Wiedenheft, I think that's how you pronounce it, but she's the voice actress of Power. Now, originally I got her to sign my book on Saturday, but I wanted to take a picture with her as well, but I forgot because I was like trying to rush stuff so I can make things happen and I can meet other voice actors. So I forgot to ask for a picture, so I was like, oh man. So the next day I went back and I asked for a picture, and she remembered me as well. She was like, hey, I remember you were cosplaying Zero, right? And I was like, wait, you know Code Geass? And she was like, yeah, you're cosplaying Lelouch right now, right? And I'm cosplaying the Emperor Lelouch. And she was like, dude, I love your Lelouch, it's so sick. And I was like, wait, you seen Code Geass, dude? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. It's like, wait, did you finish it? It's like, yeah, like, it's great, it's one of my favorites. I was like, okay. I told her, like, Sarah, I was like, you know what, dude, I already thought you were nice and cool, but you just got 10 times cooler, bro. And she started laughing. I was like, any Code Geass fan? I think they're cultured people. And she just started laughing. He was like, yeah, dude, Code Geass for the win. I was like, yeah. And that was my exchange with her. I thought she was great, and she was just nice. She was just telling me that she liked my cosplay, and her line was big. Obviously Power, beloved character, and she also kills it in the role, so it's no brainer. So if you guys didn't know, now you know. It's a fun fact that she's seen Code Geass, and I think that's awesome. But continue with the list. Let's get to Reagan Murdock. I think that's how you pronounce your name, Reagan. I'm sorry, I don't want to butcher your name. I'm not good with names, especially names that I haven't heard before. So, but Aki, he's the voice actor of Aki, and I thought he was great. I think he killed it in the role. And Aki, if you guys didn't know, he's my favorite character of Chainsaw Man, at least part 1. And I thought that he did an amazing job in the dub. And me and him talking about it, and I was like telling him how I really appreciated the way that he went with Aki's role and his performance on it. He was like, yeah, man. And I asked him, did you read the manga? And he was like, oh, absolutely, I read it. It's like fantastic. And I was like, oh, okay, can you sign my volume? And obviously I had to give him the volume. You guys know volume 9, the iconic, the snowball fight. And the second I pulled out the volume, he was like, oh man, so okay, you're gonna break my heart right now, huh? No pulling punches, I see. And I was like, yeah. I started laughing. I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, bro. It's like, by the way, can you write this quote? And the second I showed him the quote, he was like, okay, so you break my heart now, but now you want to step on it and kick it, right? Okay, I see how it is. And he started laughing, and he signs the volume, and we started talking about Chainsaw Man for a bit. And I was like, man, like, because I told him originally, I was like, did you get spoiled about what happens to Aki? He's like, no, I read it all. And me and him were talking about it, and we said how Aki's death is like one of the most heart-wrenching deaths I've seen in modern anime and manga. And he was agreeing with me because, like, he was the parental figure for Denji and Power, and like the whole family dynamic and how everything got taken away by Makima. And we talked about like how Makima as a character was fantastic as well, like how she was a villainous character that was plotting the scenes from the very beginning. and unbeknownst to everybody, she got, she played them, she played them out for fools, and Aki was the biggest fool out of them all, obviously. And overall, I think he was awesome. He was a cool dude, very down to earth. We kind of cracked a couple of jokes here and there, but like, Aki and how the snowball, and he was like, now every time you hear about a snowball fight, he gets like PTSD from it. So I thought that was funny. Now, with all that being said, let's get to the final person that I met, which was Makima herself, Suzie Young. And I've been a big fan of her work since 86. I think she was fantastic in 86 when she voiced Lena. And I brought up that with her. I brought that up with her. I was like, I'm a big fan. I'm not a particular mech anime fan, but I really enjoyed 86 and your performance, as well as everybody in the cast. Which she responded with, thanks a lot. Like, I really appreciate that, because I really enjoyed her character, and I thought her character arc was fantastic. And I was like, yeah. Then I brought up if she read the Chainsaw Man manga, and she was like, oh yeah, I absolutely read it all. And I was like, oh, so like, how do you feel like about Makima's character? She's like, I love her. Like, she's fantastic. She's a great villain. And I was like, yeah, I told her straight up, she's in my top 5. Like, if it comes to all of anime and manga, she's definitely in my top 5, because the way she was so calculating, and how she was very stoic, and throughout it all, she was very heartless, but she had a plan from the beginning. She always had a plan. And that was something you don't see too often with, villains nowadays. You don't see a character that she, from beginning to end, she stays consistent, and Makima was a fantastically consistent character. And I thought that her performance was very fitting for her. I thought that she had a very calm demeanor, and she had a presence whenever she was on screen. And I had complimented her. I was like, yeah, you absolutely killed it. And she was like, thanks a lot. And I also, told her if she could sign some of my cards that I have of Lena and Makima, which she did. And she was very happy to see them. She's like, oh my God, they're so cute. And she was like, yay. So then we started discussing other stuff, like, cause she saw my girlfriend. She was cosplaying this Makima bunny girl. And she was like, oh my God, that's so cute. I love it. And she was like, you even got the eyes. That's so sick. And, we just chit-chatted for a bit, because there was like nobody behind us, because it was like towards the end of the day. So we were thankfully the last ones. So we chit-chatted for her for a bit, and my girlfriend was just saying like she loves Makima, and it was just, we were just telling her that, hey, you're awesome, you're doing a great job, keep at it, like pretty much. We were like, and it was just nice seeing the person behind Makima, one of my favorite villains of all time. Honestly, she was such a nice person to meet, and I'm very glad that I got to meet her, as well as the entire cast, because I thought they were all very charming, and all of them were awesome in their own way. And I'm looking forward to meeting them again, because I'm sure that I'm gonna get more stuff signed by them next time. Overall, I had a blast meeting the entire cast, and I'm really looking forward to meeting them again, because they were all such sweet people, and I wanted to see them again so they can sign more stuff because I'm sure I'm gonna get more merch of Chainsaw Man in the near future. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Chainsaw Man anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.